If you missed our last video, you may not know that we have already gone all the way through the country of Sierra Leone, and we had to do it in basically one day and one night because unfortunately, halfway into getting into that beautiful country, the van started making a horrible whistling, screeching sound. It is running okay, but something is definitely wrong. We think with the same thing we just had repaired in Conakry. So we had to skip a lot of beautiful stuff in Sierra Leone, and we are about to cross the border into Liberia, where we'll be making a mad dash to the capital city of Monrovia, where we need to get the van checked out. Now I'm going to tell y'all the way I'm remaining calm is I think it's just a loose hose, and we're losing a little bit of air, and that's causing the squeal in our turbo system. But I am no mechanic, and that's just how I'm remaining calm.
Well, we've had the problem before, and so we've kind of been through it, and some of the symptoms are very similar. So I don't know.
Yeah. We got to get into a mechanic.
Yeah,
that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed. But first up, we got to cross the border. You guys remember the rules. No cameras at the borders, so it'll just be our dash cam footage. So we're going to go do that, and then we'll be back. Incredibly smooth, easy, and friendly border. Leaving Sierra Leone, it kind of just breaks my heart even a little bit more because the border people were some of the nicest we've encountered the whole way. And one guy has the same last name as Curt, and even has like a Curt in his family.
Liberia.
Yeah, so they decided they're brothers, long lost brothers.
Yeah, but before we left Sierra Leone, we had a bit of drama, and we've never seen this before.
Oh, yeah. In the no man's zone between the two, some guy tried to run through the border on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
And the military and the police and the border people chased him down. Pretty much yanked him off his motorcycle, had him by his shirt, dragging him back to immigration, took the key out of his moto. It was very dramatic.
It was all while we were changing money.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we got any on the cameras. I hope we did.
I think we got a little bit.
But we were like sitting there changing our money out, and all this happened right in front of us. Like, it was crazy.
So then that ended. We got our money exchanges, and we checked into Liberia, which went incredibly smooth as well. I would say that border took us 45 minutes in and out, which is really good.
Everybody's like, welcome. All the people around there trying to sell SIM cards, because obviously you're in a new country, so you might need cell service. The money changers, everybody was helpful, point you where you're supposed to go.
We got some bananas. The little ones are favorite. From a little girl, maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, walking around with a tray of them on her head. So we bought some. We've already ate one. They're delicious. The GPS says we have about 2.5 hours to Monrovia, where we will kind of scope out our mechanic shop options, find a place to park. But it is Sunday, so we don't think we can really deal with what's wrong with the van until in the morning. But this is going to be a nervous 2.5 hours because the van is making that crazy noise. It's running okay, but it's got to get us to Monrovia so we can get it checked out. So let's go on the drive.
And fingers crossed, the shop there can work on us, can fix us, can look at it. We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know. But we have learned the big cities are where you need to do this kind of thing. That's where we're going. So, officially, welcome to Liberia.
Welcome to Liberia. We're here.
A new country, guys. It happened really fast. As for making the drive to the capital city here in Liberia, a few things we've noticed already. Curt would call them first impressions. The road quality is not quite as good as we had in Sierra Leone, but I must say the road qualities in Sierra Leone were very, very good.
Very good.
Yeah. So the roads aren't horrible here. They're a little bit narrower, and there are some potholes, and the bridges are quite bumpy. But we've noticed that there's also a bit more rubbish than we saw in the past country. but not horrible, not as bad as we've seen. The housing looks similar, right, Kurt? Not much change there. People still doing their laundry out in their front yards or in the rivers, and people selling stuff in every town. All that looks the same. But there are a couple of, or at least one, I would call it a big difference between Liberia and Sierra Leone. So in Sierra Leone, the religious makeup is roughly, and these numbers can vary a little bit, but roughly 80% Muslim, and the minority is 20% Christian. Now, from the numbers we can find, we do not know the exact percentages or anything, but when we asked, here in Liberia, the main religion is Christian, and that's been the first time that's happened since we entered into Africa. They do have a significant minority Muslim population, but Liberia is supposedly mostly a Christian country and a tolerant country as well, so the religions get along fine. Now, they also do some mining here. Help me remember, I already forgot.
So iron ore is by far and above their biggest, and we actually saw iron ore up in Sierra Leone too. And then their second is gold. So they do a lot of gold mining here.
We already passed a turnoff up to a gold mine. I thought about going up there, but we can't because we got to get the van work done. So, and then for things they grow here that they export, they do a lot of palm oil. They have rubber trees here, so they export that. What was the third one, Kurt?
Cocoa, chocolate.
Cocoa, chocolate, yeah. So that's where we're at. And when you know they're growing chocolate, you know you're getting more and more closer to the tropical areas.
Yeah, today the temperatures are about 90 degrees Celsius.
Not Celsius.
Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It has been pushing up to hundreds on most days. In the evening time, it's cooling down a little bit earlier than it was up in Gundara where we broke down. It's cooling down maybe like 8 or 9 in the evening, but also there's more humidity here.
A lot more humidity here. It reminds me of Florida in July when you walk to the mailbox and back and you're sweaty. So it's not quite as hot. It's still very, very warm, guys, very warm, but the humidity is off the charts. And we've had a lot of people asking us to tell them more about what the weather is like. So there's your local weather update from Snow and Curt coming to you live from Liberia. All right, guys, we're trying to keep our spirits up as we work our way towards a mechanic shop. That's what's going on this drive.
And just a little bit of drama. We're down to 2 bars of fuel. Now, we do have the backup, but we haven't seen a fuel station in a long time since we crossed the border, really.
So we're on the lookout for fuel and hoping we don't have to get into our emergency stash. It's all good, guys. If it were easy, everybody would do it. We're the crazy ones out here doing it. We turned right at a little intersection and the road turned terrible quickly, didn't it, Kurt?
Yeah, dog's breakfast, potholes, some places all the way across the road, and they're deep potholes too, so it's like...
It's a very slow road. We still have 45 kilometers to go to get where we're trying to go. The fuel station should be somewhere up here, we hope, because we just dropped down to 1 bar of fuel. We can't do anything simple. We have to make it exciting all the time.
We do not need any excitement in our life right now. We just need to get there and get this dang van looked out.
Oh, big bump, big bump. There it is. Oh, big bump. All right, guys, that's the update. We'll see y'all at the gas station, unless something interesting happens between here and there. We made it to the fuel station and learned a couple of things about Liberia. They'll accept US dollars, just like their currency, at least at the gas station, so maybe the bigger places are all like that. And the gas pump was in gallons. It's been a long time since that.
It was in US dollars.
Yeah, and the price was in US dollars, so I mean it was really easy for us to see $4.26 per gallon for diesel, just on the outskirts of Monrovia, Liberia. So there you go, for you guys that are tracking fuel prices. But we're full. That takes one thing off our plate. Now we're headed to where we hope we can spend the night, and then in the morning, bright and early, head to a place we hope can tell us what's making this squeaking noise. So welcome to another city here in West Africa.
Capital cities.
Another thing I forgot to tell y'all when we crossed the border is we have now been in the van with our cats to 40 different countries. Now in total, me and Kurt have both been to 49 countries. So the next one will be a big one for that. That'll be the big 5-0. But the van and the cats have been to 40 countries. That's crazy, isn't it, Kurt?
Crazy talk.
It's crazy. Oh, and the roads are still bad. So there's that.
Hang on tight.
And at the gas station, Kurt was able to clean the windshield. So now we can see much better out.
Places we will go.
Alright, not this road, but the next one.
Take the next right on Broad Street. In 500 meters, continue straight.
Say we turn around.
Let's go left first. Let's get up there where we can turn around.
That used to be a big fancy hotel right there. It's closed down. Beside us over here, the ruins. After we got our fuel, we made a drive through Monrovia on a Sunday afternoon, so we think we got a little lucky with it not being as crowded as some of these cities over here can be. And we had found a spot on Overlander, but there was no recent reviews on it. It had been, like 3 years or something, so I was worried we wouldn't be able to park there, and it was the only place I could find. And to be honest, as we were getting closer, I was like, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. We were going up this hill.
She's like, we're in the wrong place.
Yeah,
Turn around.
I didn't feel right. But we popped out on the top of the hill at the most perfect campsite. What it is it's a huge hotel that has been abandoned and is kind of guarded off and fenced off so there aren't people squatting in there and stuff like that. With beautiful views.
It's the Ducor Hotel is what it was, and it's built in 1960, as Snow said. It was abandoned and during the war in the 90s.
But, yeah, so we pulled up there, and we were going to park just outside of it, and Kurt got out and talked to the security guards, and they said it was safe, and then a few minutes later they came and said, you can park inside of the gate. So
they called the owner, and the owner
Yeah.
talked to me on the phone, and he said, this is for free. Don't let anybody ask you for any money. They pulled us inside the gates. We had secure parking. The security guard's like, hey, do you want to go up to the top and take a tour? And I was like, of course. And Snow's like, how many floors of stairs is it?
There's too many stairs for me, but Kurt went up.
And so anyway, I went up to this abandoned hotel, and he told me kind of the story of the place. but there had been squatters there since over the years, and that was once it was abandoned. Now they've got security in there, and they've got kind of everything stripped out. I don't want to use the words cleaned up, but it is kind of cleaned up shell. But we got to go all the way up to the top floor. Now, one of the conditions of the tour was that I was not allowed to film the building, but I was allowed to view the panoramic views, and he did point out some of the highlights. Now, this place is an icon even today in Monrovia. Actually, it's one of the biggest icons. But you can see the various parts of the city. One of the places that stands out in my mind is the island where they brought the slaves back when they were freed from the U.S. They brought them back to an island that we could see. And so he pointed out various parts of the city. We were right next to the UN embassy, the abandoned UN embassy. And anyway.
So a couple of things happened. Not UN embassy, or USA embassy.
USA embassy.
Yeah, we were right there in the embassy area. But at first, the security guards, who were incredibly nice, gave Curt some tips on possible mechanics.
Yeah.
But then Curt met an American that was out in the neighborhood. He came up to talk to us.
Who works for the Liberian finance ministry or something.
Yeah. And he knew of a mechanic. He sent him messages and all of that. So his name is Mark, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Mark. That's a big help. We left that campsite this morning, bright and early, said goodbye to our friendly security guards. And we wanted to beat the crowds on the roads, why we left early. And we were sitting outside of Bernie's mechanic shop. He says he does all the vehicles for the UN. Now it's just it's not a fancy paved shop with big signs or anything. So, but he did message him. We messaged him kind of some of the things that we thought were wrong. He knows we're coming.
He can work it on. So
we're here. We got here a little early. We're going to have breakfast here. And then by the time we're done with breakfast, hopefully Bernie will be here, which should be around 8:30. And we'll start seeing what's going on with our van. Yep. But we had a really good night under the circumstances, guys. And the security guards had a lot to do with that.
Security guard. And the weather kind of behaved. It got down to about 80, probably 78 to 80 was our sleeping weather last night. Yeah. And today it's probably going to get up in the mid to high 90s. So.
And humid. But I have decided that this is going to be a super easy fix for the van. And we're going to be on the road in like an hour. I'll say by lunchtime. But let's hope that's true, guys.
All right, we'll see how it goes. All right. What a cool guy.
Yeah.
He lived in the United States for 40 years.
Oh.
In Minnesota, so he's got dual citizenship from Liberia and the U.S. And he's known Mark since Mark came here. So just a really he's traveled a lot, been all over in Europe. We could exchange some stories. And he can definitely take a look at the van. He's got to go up to the school for 5 minutes, and then he's going to come back and take a look at it. But he said, based on what I've described, he says it sounds like a leak, which is what we think.
Which is what I've been saying.
I think it makes the most sense. He's going to throw the computer on and check if there's any error codes. And I said, we didn't get any lights. I said, but I didn't check for error codes, so he'll check that. But I'm pretty confident there's not going to be any error codes because
we have power.
The van just ran. So anyway, he'll check for that, and it's probably like something didn't get put back on 100% properly or something, and we'll be on the way today. We'll see, though. We never know.
All right, that's what we're hoping for, guys. So that's what we're hoping for.
All right, guys. So this intake hose was off, or loose. So that's probably what the problem was. We're guessing.
That's my guess, yeah.
So that intake line right there is what came off. There you go. My man, Bernie. All right, the issue is if you can see right back in there, you probably can't. There's some liquid back there. Now, this is the line inside of the turbo that came off, and you can see how kind of oil, when it came off, oil came over that. Anyway, we don't know if there's another leak coming from back there in the back, or if it was actually the fluid that came over this and is creating that. So we're gonna put the van back together, and we're gonna, Snow and I are gonna go take it for a test drive, and then so they're gonna clean it up. We're gonna put the van back together. We're gonna go take it for a test ride, and then we're gonna come back to see if there's fluid coming out of this area, or if it was a result from that pipe coming off right there. So if it is still fluid come out of there, that means we got to pull the turbo out. It's not a leak in the turbo, it's a leak in the engine block on that side of a valve or something like that, a sensor valve. So we don't know yet. It's to be determined. So we're gonna take it for a test ride, and then we'll see. We'll let you guys know. We can still hear the turbo.
Yeah, you can. I don't like that, huh? That's bad. Maybe it just needs a minute to build its pressure back up or something. Damn it. Well, we'll still give it a test drive for the fluid leak. Right?
Here. You hear it, right?
Yeah, a little bit. All right, I just want to give you a little update here. So after looking at it further, they took this apart, and right here there's a gasket in this, and right here there's a gasket in this intake. Oh, it's in there? It was here and here, right?
No, and there.
And there. Those two gaskets, and they had snapped. And so they had found those, they put new ones in, they're tightening back up. Fingers crossed we got the problem solved. What do you think? Does it sound better?
Yeah, okay.
Sounds better?
Yeah, it sounds better. Yeah. You can have those if you want. Okay, thank you.
Souvenir?
It's souvenir, yeah.
Thank you.
We didn't even know what a turbo booster was. Now we can hear every noise, every breath it takes.
Having a fight over here. Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting here on pins and needles listening to it. As you can see, we are not in the van right now. In fact, we're sitting out here about to have our breakfast right by the ocean, surrounded by jungle. And what we didn't even tell you guys yesterday, because we were really just wore out, I think from the stress and everything, we found a campsite. It is an eco lodge right on the ocean, about 45 minutes to an hour south of Monrovia, the city. It is beautiful. It has amazing pools, 2 beautiful restaurants. This one's sitting right on the ocean that they call the Sunset Restaurant. We didn't film it all yesterday. We immediately jumped in the pool to relax. We had a dinner out here on the deck, and we had a good night's sleep, other than we are in the jungle and it is muggy. But that's okay, because we like to look out the window and see all the beautiful green. But we're gonna have breakfast here this morning. It comes with the stay. This is not a cheap place. It is an extravagant place as far as overlanding goes. It is $50 per person to sleep in your car in the parking lot. That comes with breakfast and use of all the facilities. But that's pricey. But for us, it was worth it, right, Kurt?
Yeah, we were able to negotiate where they let us shower in one of the rooms, so we did that. Because man, here in a couple minutes, you already got a little sweat building up on you.
Yeah.
Not complaining, just trying to share with you guys what it's like.
Yeah, we are definitely in a muggy part of the world, but as you can see, it is stunning, beautiful. And the people here have been really kind. The Liberian people in general have just been really nice people, haven't they, Kurt?
Yeah, they have. And there's monkeys here too. I didn't put a camera on yesterday. Snow said it was stressful, we were beat, but we were able to float around the pool, and we did catch a wonderful sunset. This sunset bar did live up to its name. We thought about staying another day, but some rain's coming in, so we are going to have a big drive day today, and we might push close to our next country.
Yeah, we may make it to the border. We'll have to see, but we're going to enjoy the breakfast that comes with this stay, and then we're going to get on the road, guys. All right, for me, I got fresh fruit, which looks like papaya and pineapple. I got a piece of toast, waffles. I have Liberian honey, chocolate syrup, butter, and some jelly. What do you got, Kurt?
These are sausage, but it turns out they're barbecue hot dogs. These are hash browns, eggs, and toast.
All right, and fresh juice, guys. Breakfast is served.
If you know me, I wandered off and I was headed back to the van, and Snow's paying up the tab, and I saw this little sign that said lagoon. So of course I had to come here and explore, and there was a little jungle trail, and you know, we were along the ocean, and I didn't have any idea that there was another body of water here. But look at this beautiful lagoon. And to be honest with you, I'm guessing it dumps out into the ocean to my left, but I'm not even really sure. But look at this place. How you doing? Welcome. Look at this, guys. What a nice place. Unfortunately, it's raining today, or we could spend a little extra time here. I'm sure there's some water birds. There's definitely monkeys up in these trees. But we got a long way to go, and we're gonna get on the road here, and we're gonna head actually a little bit north. We're headed to the Ivory Coast border. It's about a 6-hour drive, I guess. So we'll see what the roads are like and how far we can get. And fingers crossed that the turbocharger is running well today. All right, a couple things, guys. We are about 30 minutes into, maybe 45 minutes into our drive towards the Ivory Coast. Now, we had to leave the coast, and to cross the border, you kind of got to head a little bit north, a little bit east, but anyway, away from the coast to find a border that you can cross. So that's about a 5.5-hour drive. And right now we are on a gravel, washboard, bouncy, bumpy road. And so go figure. But we are also going through an area where there are a ton of rubber trees. And so Snow just spotted a Firestone sign.
So we thought we were in the area of the rubber plantations. That's one of their big exports here in Liberia. And then there was a sign, and it's like Firestone something or another. So if you've got Firestone tires, the rubber could have come from these trees right here. And this is a massive area. And just outside of it, you could see a lot of community housing and stuff. So it looks like the farmers live just outside of the plant, or the workers live just outside the plantation. Like maybe there's some bus systems that bring them into work. Similar to like the bananas in Guatemala.
Yeah, and through this particular area, there are a lot of very young trees, and so I don't know how quickly these rubber trees plant. I would expect the bigger ones to be tapped, so we're not seeing the taps on these, but these look like a whole big giant area where these have recently been planted. But we have seen workers with carrying buckets on their head, which I believe are carrying the rubber sap or whatever that kind of back to the meeting area where they're probably taken back to the processing facility. But this is definitely a huge rubber area in the world. So there you go.
Kind of cool.
Now, I do have one more update. The vehicle. We definitely are hearing a noise still from the turbo. Now, I think I told you that Bernie and his gang changed out 2 O-rings, and he used O-rings that he had in the shop. He was pretty confident that one was the exact size. The other one he thinks might have been a little thinner. The theory is there might still be some air escaping around that seal or that O-ring, because we're hearing a noise that sounds kind of like an air conditioner running on high. So it's not the same squeal that we heard before, but it sounds like that. Additionally, I've noticed in the back out of the exhaust, when Snow gets on the gas, we're seeing a little dark cloud of smoke, which would indicate that the fuel's not burning clean, that we have some kind of combustion issue. So, we are headed to Abidjan. We are going to another mechanic. So we have about a 14-hour drive, another 2-day drive, and this theme is becoming all too reoccurring. But as far as we're concerned, we really don't know that we have a choice.
Yeah, and well, we've chose this next city because we have to go there anyway to get our visas for Ghana. So it's Abidjan, it's the capital city of the Ivory Coast. We had to go there anyway, and there's a Mercedes shop, so we're gonna try again, guys. And we're gonna start with that O-ring and see if that fixes stuff.
So, we're on a bumpy road,
She's yelling at us.
trying to get to a mechanic, and she ain't happy about it. We have been driving through these rubber plantations, these rubber tree forests, for about 45 minutes, maybe even close to an hour now on this bumpy road. And as we've gotten further in, we've noticed the trees are bigger, and some of these trees are actually being tapped. It takes highly trained professionals to tap these trees. They use special knives and they sort of scarify the bark. And one of the important things is not to cut it too deep, but you have to cut it deep enough where you can get the sap or the latex to flow down. And they kind of cut it at a 45-degree angle around the tree, and at the bottom they carve a V into the bark and pound the tap right in below that, and then put the buckets below, the little cups below, to capture the latex. But this is an expansive area, and again, Firestone is a huge player here. There are other big players here, but this is one of Liberia's largest export products. It's a big industry, and a couple things that are cool about it, as we've traveled through the world, we've seen areas where countries, produce a high volume of raw materials, or maybe it's bananas or whatever. In a lot of those areas, we see that people are just taking advantage of the cheap labor, no schools, no housing, stuff like that. But as we come through these areas, we're definitely seeing kind of like nice villages compared to some of the villages outside the plantations, We're seeing some schools. We're seeing some medical centers.
Yeah, we just passed the health clinic. Now, when we were doing our research, it did say that over the past, the child labor and stuff like that was an issue in some of these rubber plantations, but that they were trying to work on it. So I like to think that maybe now, you know, they've got it all sorted out. But like Curt said, the villages look nice, the homes look nice, they have little water tanks, so they've got good water for them. And then we passed the health center. So hopefully the stuff we're seeing is representative of how the workers on these plantations are treated.
All right, we have sort of come through the last checkpoint through the plantations, the Firestone plantations, and we are now into a town, Kakata, and I believe there's an intersection up here where we will hopefully
Get back on the big road.
be back on the big road, but it looks like we have a military checkpoint first.
Hello, how are you? Good. Good morning. How are you today,
How are you?
sir?
Fine, and you?
Very
Good.
well.
Where you from and where you heading to?
We're from America. We're in Monrovia, and we're headed to Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
Yes, sir. We have
Liberia.
enjoyed Liberia.
It's a cool country.
You have a nice country.
Yeah, no, Liberia is good.
Yes,
It
it
is
is.
good.
It is a good country. The people are very kind. Always smiling. See? You're smiling.
Where you going? Coming from
Monrovia.
Monrovia, Monrovia, heading to Ivory Coast. They're from the States. So, I know you have an holiday. So when I was fasting, I wasn't enjoying it. I move from place to place, you know, from one point to another point. While you see the people are kind of like they everything inside. You understand? They come close. Yeah. So he asked me for a name, you know, I think the other thing that he asked me like that, you tell him know something about umbrella. Yeah. Even she's saying that the country is a huge country. So your name?
It's okay. My name is Snow, and this is Curt, and we're travelers. We travel in the van. We came from Europe through Morocco, Mauritania, all the way
Senegal,
down.
the Gambia, Guinea
Ghana,
Conakry.
So how your travel? Yeah, do you have any document?
Oh yeah, we have everything you could ask for. We have the passports with the visas. Let's see.
Yeah, you can get rid of him. I'm a few passport back.
I'm looking for Liberians. There we go. There you go. There's Liberia, I believe.
Yeah, what should I give?
Wait
I am.
Let me go park the car so that I eat everywhere right now.
Why do we need to park the car?
I want to see the other passport, please.
It's right here. We see one at a time for right now.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've been asked so much like this. We have our visas. We're good. Multiple entries. We went to the Liberia Embassy in Guinea. Went through all the paperwork. We came through the border. 90 days to be in this country.
We're
today.
tourists.
Travelers.
Travelers. We're travelers.
Yeah, we're just traveling through.
We're going to South Africa.
Let's see the other passport, please.
Hold that one.
I'll say about
How do you think we got past the border?
Video protected.
Well,
We
can
drove
legal.
through and we have a stamp.
We could show you every country we've been to, and we have all the stamps, everything.
I think you're going to
all the
make me
paperwork.
not think it's so nice here. It's just, this is the first time we've been given a hard time. We've traveled to 40 countries over the past 5 years.
Video
We
protected.
understand the rules. We know the visas. We understand immigration. We follow every single rule. We don't cross any borders without having our documents in complete order. I can show you we have all the countries we've visited on the flags on the back of our van. You can see everywhere we've been. We do our paperwork properly. We have 90 days from February 20th to come through and be out. We are perfectly in compliance.
Video protected.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you did a very thorough job.
Yeah, we just
Too thorough, but very thorough job. Thank you, sir.
I like you. I like you.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
The first guy who came out was nice, and then another guy came out, and he was like, blah, 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 you know, you gotta, don't be so nice to them, you gotta check your paperwork, their paperwork and all that stuff. And he honestly did not even know what he was looking at.
He didn't know what he was looking at.
We showed him their passports, we showed him the stamps. Snow was explaining him to him. He was like, oh, pull over.
And I told him no.
Snow did a great job. And the road is kind of getting worse here.
I think we have 3 more miles of dirt road.
Don't know how much more, but it is not chattery, but it is potholy. And,
well, I think we're out of the plantation, so Firestone probably manages those roads, and we've left the plantation, so they probably don't anymore.
check out these motorcycle umbrellas. Another thing common to Liberia, we haven't seen any place else. But look, it's like a normal umbrella, but then umbrella's got like a cape on the back. And since there's a lot of moto taxis, it really helps the shade. Because I can tell you guys, the sun is super hot down here. Alright, we are coming up to the main road. And generally when you get up to areas like this is where the markets get thick. I can see the pavement up there. Snow did an amazing job on these tough roads. What do you got to say?
Well, I want to say one thing for sure. We're getting a lot of comments about why in the world we're doing this. Guys, it is hard, it is rugged, but man, it is fascinating to see how other parts of the world are. We are not miserable. There's been times it's been scary when we were broke down or stranded or stressful, but we are enjoying our journey through here. I want to make sure y'all know that. I know this type of trip is not for everybody, but it's for us. We don't want to do it forever, but we were prepared for this and we are enjoying it. This is where we're going to wind this video down. We will see you guys in a few days getting ready to cross the border into the Ivory Coast. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. We'll see you guys in a few days from somewhere out here in the world. Cheers.